Retired Alumni Lecture is the first in this series. The first of the Alumni Lectures. But today, we are witnessing something new. It is new because the Ondo State branch has rebranded the lecture series. In the wisdom of the President Executive of UIA Ondo branch, the Alumni Lectures will henceforth be tagged Basharu the Arogbofa Alumni Lectures, while the public service lectures is tagged Parubel Fashion International Public Lectures. This is the furtherance of our belief that our reward alumni and alumni should be celebrated and given adequate service. It is the tradition of our university, the first and the best among them all, to always lead by example. The lecture series have always provided an avenue for robust public discourse on public and contemporary issues in Nigeria, and the courage to lead the voice at the foremost university has become the character of our university and the products. Ladies and gentlemen, today's choice of lecturer is therefore a furtherance of this about goal. We must talk, people must listen, and people. That is the spirit of UI. The royal fathers here present, noble working. I welcome you all to this gathering, and I am optimistic that Nigeria will be great. I congratulate that the state for being alive will be honored. Once again, congratulations. I welcome you all. God bless.
Thank you very much, my chairman, Isabola Kayo. We are moving ahead program. I would like to invite my speaker.
I've just thought perhaps I should be allowed to sit down and enjoy the day. So I haven't got anything to make other than present. So I appreciate all of you for being here today. From far and there, and for being kind to come and listen to what one association has to say. And I want to thank very sincerely the Ondo State branch, Union Association, for its vision for celebrating some of us alive. Just breaking the rules. Because what we used to know is celebrating people alive and are gone. But taking this initiative, we have to try with association. Lastly, before I take it, this is the subject matter for today on insecurity and the role of the elite. Just a word on that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing a crisis in this country. We are facing a problem in this country. And when we look at those who should really make it happen, they have their list. You people sitting down here this morning, you have their list. And others, millions outside this place, who can really make it happen. All is not well. You and me, members of the elite club, do it. We show the light for people to follow. I just say, our cabinet, our airheads, our respected ladies and gentlemen, that if you don't take action, if the leaders are there and we don't react, remember the French Revolution. It's not too late. If you don't act, I pray that you're not consumed. You're welcome.
Representative of the chairman of today's occasion, that's Dr. Banji Ajaka. You are welcome, sir. He's a noble Uite and a great Kutai for that matter. That's the best hall in the University of Ibadan. Kuti also. So that's my excellency. Lucky who are you? You are welcome.
I greet everybody here today, especially the greatest Uite here. Greatest Uite? It's not here. I first of all bring apology. Let me pause to and the secretary of the government of all those states. Well, he said to me that I should come and present him here today because for some time he's been working up and down. And he has already shared the vacation. And it was only before yesterday that he left the vacation. So he sent his apology where he took us. Then he sent his felicitation to the UIAA, himself and alumnus of the Great University of Zimbabwe. He said that today is a very great day and we have not missed. But he said with you that he will, when he returns, he will come and see the University of the Alumni Association by himself. He will come and see you and felicitate with you. Today is a great day, and we are happy to be here too. For me as an alumnus of the University of Ibadan, maybe I will not have any time to say again. I'm proud to be here. I'm really honored to be a Uite. And I wish all of us a very wonderful day today. I thank Mr. Chairman and every other member of the executive and all the members of the Association of Viewers. I wish you a good day today. Thank you and God bless you.
We would once again like to welcome His Excellency, His female secretary to Oyo State. At this point, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite our keynote speaker, Ọba Commodore Retired Momodu Kábíyèsí, you are welcome. That's Pastor Dr. Omisani Ojebu in Ondo State, Kábíyèsí and his olórí, you are welcome. He attended St. Paul's before Methodist High School from 1966, Obafemi Awolowo University, 1986 to 1988, and the University of Benin System of Law. He was a classroom teacher between 1976, Oil Minerals Producing Area Development Commission, OPADEC, Port Harcourt and Special Services, Head of Service, Ondo State.
Represented by the Commissioner of Health. Let me isolate for mention Papa R.L. Fashionti, one of the oldest students of the University of Ibadan, yet alive. I want to welcome you, sir. Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, graduate, graduate, graduate. I should like to thank the President and the other executive members of the University of Ibadan Alumni Association, Ondo State Branch, for inviting me as guest speaker on the occasion of the 2022 Bastion Sunday Arogbofa and UIAA University of Ibadan All Students Association lecture on the subject Security of our nation, the role and the challenges of the elite. When all such invitations as this come from the University of Ibadan Alumni Association, we should regard with gratitude and a feeling of nostalgia. I was a student of the University of Ibadan from 1973 to 1976. Our school should occupy a special place in our hearts. So our teachers, to whom I offer our tribute on this occasion. The man in whose honor this lecture is being held today is no other person than Papa Bashon Sunday Arogbofa. He is an alumnus of the University of Ibadan. As school principal and administrator emeritus, who has affected lives within and outside the state and influenced generations of young people around the world through his publications. He is an eminent indigene of Ondo State who, alongside others, fought for the creation of Ondo State and has remained at the vanguard of good governance in our nation. Such a man who gives his time or energy for the benefit of society deserves our gratitude and the honor we may bestow on him from time to time. He is here today. For the purpose of this lecture, it is necessary to look at our country from the time of independence in 1960. About when I took my very first steps to school, my recollection was of a joyous occasion of better days, during which we felt very secure in our little worlds, before and after school. We heard about the goings on the political scene, but the news was distant until 1966, when the army decided to intervene in the politics of our nation. On January the 15th, 1966, there was a military coup. It was followed by a second on July the 29th that same year, and then by a civil war from May 1967 to January 1970. Then a third coup followed in 1975, another in 1983, again in 1985, and in 1990. Between 1999 and 2003, Boko Haram was born in Borno State. It graduated into insurgency, later banditry, and today it has been scaled up to terrorism. Our nation now stands at the crossroads. For sure, nations experience political crises or civil wars, but these occurrences should not define a nation before the nation rediscovers itself. In all of the problems that face our nation, from the past to the present, the elites have played a major role. I take, for example, the role of our lawyers, which is sometimes deployed in support of political authority, in aid of public policies, or what should be the good of society. In the constitution making process in our country, is it just to draft a document and hand over to the political authority, or do so with a note of caution? Have they contributed through omission or commission to the problems that now daily affect our sensibility? Why has the 1999 Nigerian Constitution become such a nightmare for everyone, achieving perhaps the distinction of being the most amended such public document in the world? That is what the former South African president said. Country, it is this challenge before the elite. To do so, he is being presented by Major General Olukoju, retired.
of Brigadier General Olukoju retired. But first, Major General Olukoju retired, but Arogbofa. Presented here this morning by the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Development, Professor Philip, and also the Chief Security Officer of the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Mr. Olukoju. A brief resume of Brigadier General Joseph in 2004. He earned his promotions from the rank of lieutenant in 1970. Following appointments during the length of his military and civil services to the country to regional peacekeeping force in Liberia, ECOMOG, 1994 to February 2014 and May 2015. Brigadier General Arogbofa holds a diploma certificate in telecommunications and conflict resolution at the University of Ibadan, a PhD in peace and conflict, religion and violence in Nigeria, the struggle for resource control in Nigeria, the role of economic warfare in joint of Nigerian society of today. It is therefore expedient to stress here that we need to focus on creating positive social change. Before college, National Defense College, and amongst the civil courses are MSc Strategic Studies, University of Ibadan, MA Peace and Conflict Resolution, Austria. His top been on there.
By Dr. Vance. If you don't answer, I will say great if you great you white. Better. Greatest UI. Let's have a round of applause for all UIs. Well, I was the one that demanded, please, I want us to please listen for the next 35-40 minutes. Because we are not here for joke. We are only here today because we are alive. One of the orders I will give, which all of you may not take, but some people must take it. Where is the representative of the police? Please, can you come around here? I consider it a great privilege to be counted worthy of delivering the 2022 Bachelor Retired General Arogbofa Alumni Lecture of the University of Ibadan, Ondo State Branch. It is instructive and commendable that the alumni of the nation's premier university that not only witnessed the independence of this country, but also contributed in nurturing enduring solutions to the raging insecurity that is making the nation to achieve its motto, unity and faith, peace and progress. It is on this note that I thank the leadership of the Ondo State Branch of the Innovation and Thinking behind the institution annual lecture. Please, excuse me here. Please, excuse me that man, please, we are not here to make noise. We are here for business. We are here for our children yet unborn. Branch for the innovation and thinking behind the institution annual lecture as a contribution to national development and especially for organizing the 2022 Alumni Lecture to enrich the literature on tackling insecurity in Nigeria in our collective interest. I would also like to deeply appreciate our father, whose name is a platform and a signpost for transformation and innovation in a nation in search of stability and development. Interrogating issues consistently gives hope that change is doable, that a better and safe Nigeria is achievable. I am therefore certain that today's intervention will shrink the nation's security gulf significantly, provoke more interventions, and consequently lead us to the promised land. And I pray that God will take us to the promised land of security and prosperity. I'm here to represent my father, my boss, whose shoes I cannot put my legs. So you just have to bear with me. Because if he were to be here, I know the quality he must, he will deliver to everybody. But he has sent me to represent him. Please, I just want us to spend the next 30 minutes to listen and then let us make contributions so that our security situation today may be better tomorrow. It is our decision. By introduction, I will read the introduction, then thereafter everything I'm going to say we are going to discuss. A society is a social construct wedged together by a chain of sectors: security, political, economic, infrastructure, health, and so on, to deliver sustainable development, peace, and prosperity. Prominent and highly connected to the other sectors as propounded by Abraham Maslow in human hierarchy of needs. The first human hierarchy of needs is what? Security. There can be no better period in human history to fully understand the place of security in human and national lives than these tasty and volatile times of globalization, when the whole world has not only been collapsed into a global village, but is being ravaged by mismanagement of the sectorial chain. As players in the surely challenge 21st century, we have all experienced inadequacy of health provision as made obvious by COVID-19, that a hobbled economy that has produced restive and crime-prone youth can become national insecurity. Militancy in the Niger Delta years back, as well as the floods being currently expressed in Nigeria, are reminders that mismanagement of the environment can be makers of insecurity. That has thrown the world into monumental security crisis and bred armies of Boko Haram, ISWAP, bandits, and unknown gunmen in Nigeria can manifest as national security. Now we have unknown gunmen in the east. We have ISWAP in the north, and something close to it at a war. Yes, it's at a war. It happened in a war. And we are all here. All of us are here very close to a war. That is why we must take this session very serious. Because what was happening in Maiduguri, nobody will ever believe it will ever happen in Ondo State. And unfortunately, it happened in one of the most important traditional cities in Ondo State. Well, we cannot say that it is our fault, but again, too, all of us here are elites. If you know you are not an elite here, tell me you are not an elite. So, it's my fault, it's your fault. And by the time we don't identify this fault, we are going to get ourselves worse than that if care is not taken. While the above mentioned instances can be listed as contents and symptoms of insecurity, the elites who consist of political, economic, traditional, religious, and social genre are the dramatis personae whose activities or inactivity determine whether our country will be secured or not. Unfortunately, the elite class in Nigeria, which I belong to, has seemingly assumed a dimension that in Nigeria revealed that elites have no consistent and significant linkage to national ethos and aspiration. On this basis, the country has not realized its optimal value as a result of ineffective will. Unfortunately, most of the victims are the masses, while the elite are barely part up until they are directly affected. When they were talking of kidnapping, everybody was looking. When they invaded airport in Kaduna, everybody kept quiet. They all moved to travel by rail. When the rail now was disturbed again, there was nowhere to travel again. That is when our elite started knowing that there were problems. I'm sure they are talking about aviation fuel now. Our elite, I said elite when I mean elite, they are talking about aviation fuel because they know they fly. But nobody is talking about diesel that is 850 per liters that you use for small industries that people are school start holders and everybody is using. It is you and I. We cannot absorb ourselves from this problem. And I believe by the time we finish, it's either we have decided to secure Ondo State or we leave Ondo State vulnerable. And I pray it will not be vulnerable to all these things that are happening. So the purpose of my lecture is to examine the responsibility of the elite in combating insecurity in Nigeria. In this presentation, therefore, I will cover the conceptual analysis of the key variables and give an overview of insecurity in Nigeria. Thereafter, the challenges our challenges why we cannot perform our roles as elite will be discussed, and then I will give solutions. And those solutions, insecurity. Okay. You know, the first thing that draws any attention in the Constitution is that the chapter 12 is said that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of governance. Please look at it. That is what our Constitution says. Can guarantee life and property in Nigeria in line with our Constitution? No. Who are the ones who do the Constitution? The elite. Next. Obede said insecurity is a dynamic condition which involves the relative ability of a state. When you say you have insecurity, modes of safety, when there is danger, when there are hazards, when there is uncertainty, when there is state of doubt, when there is inadequate protection, and when you feel unsafe, you start thinking that this malaria of insecurity is coming is very good. Next one. Now look at what other people say. When there is unnecessary loss of life, destruction of property, citizens taking to self-help, funds spent unnecessarily on personal security because when you want to build out any, you build the house, you super wire, you put cameras, you put dogs, everybody, you are the unity of the poor. The rich racing courts and private armies, many of whom worsen the insecurity situation, it's unfortunate that at this level of our lives in this country, we are still having to reach courts. It is not something that is very. I have seen situations whereby kidnappers kidnap somebody. They ask me, and you are telling the individual that these particular governments are not calling it. Armed us with AK-47 because of election. And after election, they abandon us. And the only thing to do is to kidnap. Who are the governors? Elites. I'm sure you have elites from the state of Nigeria. When we finish from national school to youth, we discuss among ourselves. It's our state, we cannot remove it. Now, the court says, for the army. Meanwhile, it's not your fault. The people that are causing the problems, they are inside their community. But you are in the forest fighting. They don't know what they are saying there. But when the thing happens, I love the other time, when instead of praying for them, you start castigating them. Meanwhile, the people that are causing the problem are all inside their condition. Now, when you see people lose confidence in ability for government to protect them, we have OPC, we have our temple, Abi, because people are losing confidence that you know there is insecurity already. Then go externally that they need to wait for after. Because now Turkey has cancelled e-visa for Nigeria. Giants of Africa. Rest of the society. And so that individuals whose ability to participate legitimately in the policy. Now, there needs to be either intellectual There's nobody like politician there. You have to support those things. They are all elite in their own class as at the time before we got independent. So traditional rulers are our elite. Then you keep on looking at the country. You cannot give traditional rulers roles in their constitution. Nigeria. Next. Now let me just quickly go through the overview of insecurity in Nigeria. I took only 10 years from 2011 to 2021. What is 2022? We don't know what is going to happen. This is before the end of this year. So this is during this coup. Now soldiers was out. Yes. Then we now started having Manchester riot. If you remember Manchester riot in Ghana. Next, the whole civil society organization who are always after the military, they all went to sleep. As if it's always answer me. Is there anything anybody can tell me contrary to that? Anything? The civil society organization of Nigeria have gone to extinction. Even the human rights lawyers, they. Now, if you look at, I gave you some opinion to the organizers and the hardcore, looking at the shows the number of deaths in Nigeria alone. And these are deaths that people have been averted. South. Next. Southeast. Next. Northwest. And of course, Northeast. Northeast has the highest. Next one. Okay. All these ones are what we expect the elites to do. But they are not able to do it because of the four fundamentals that were missing. That gave rise to those problems, gave rise to the system theory, and the uses we are looking at. Now, let's get to the next one. Now, I want us to look at it from community level to local government level and then to the state level. Starting from safety and protection of life and property. We all show their identities and there are times where you are. When you keep quiet and you are not doing anything, even at the community level, there's a problem. Now, political education, I will say it here, I don't give a damn whoever listens to me. It is our responsibility to get our masses together and give them political education. A situation where somebody will just come and tell me, you must go for this test. And you must keep on distributing money. At the end of the day, when you go for the test, and the person does not perform, because the money is another 1 year before. The people who are tested, and now they just have to look at the impact of Nigeria. Reduce the exclusive list to only 5. Let the state do most of it. Please put our traditional rulers, put their role for them, because who run for them to war? They will work at community level. And that's why the people just come and say they don't go ahead and traditional rulers. Now I said you should establish special court. Those of you that are blessed. Anybody who is a terrorist, don't find them in normal court. Please establish special court so that as you are carrying them, take them straight to the court. So that you will just speak to them. When you carry them to get the one sit down for someone who has seen who are the oaths. Criminal. It is listen to me. It is your problem that you want the constitution. You don't need to wait for America to give you their own. I mean, if you have one of those things, as you know, it doesn't have to ask you now. But you need to make it there. So you do that, then you don't tell you what. You just to be right. What was it? Now, I say establish who likes to go into internet. Go and see what Silicon Valley is today. All these things, you bring all the professors together, everybody together, village, provide them everything they give them
If each buyer in your family take $1, keep it, so that when there's a need for security things to do, you don't need to wait for national assembly. Who they get their money and other people don't get their money. You don't need to wait for that. Let the president be in charge. If you say you need $1 million, just give it. $1 million that they will thank you for this. Before I can finally tell you, let me remind you of this in line with the current realities. Establish federal courts for the protection of terrorists and bandits. I have to know that I want to tell you. If you can do it, we help you, because it's helping you. What I say, get sons and daughters of your town together, the elites of the town, put them together. God knows make mistakes by creating where you come. He could have created you in Opagana. He created you because God wants to see whether you do anything for where he created you for. Not for you to be writing this and going over back. So get them together.
You are now His Excellency, Olukoju. Now you can have that your name, sir. When you never what you call Unilag guys. Unilag guys. That is why UI is different. UI, you can never say Unilag guys. Independent.
Kò sọ́wọ́n UI tó ṣorí burú àti gbà tábáyé ti dá. Kò sọ́wọ́n UI orí burúkú. There is something I'm proud to be on. There is something I'm proud to be. There is something I'm proud to be.
System protocol because of time. Mine will not be a question but an intervention. The intervention will come form of my person as a Yoruba person. I'd like to thank the organizers.
We need to defend them. It's not because they contribute to this problem, they are part of this problem. No!
It's almost a week since the government directed that CCTV cameras should be installed in all religious centers to forestall discipline and all that. So is that system so far? What is the level of compliance from your organization, the CAN Association?
Well, we must commend the government for making that direction that people should please install the CCTV camera because it's one of the ways through which we can contain these activities of this insurgent. The people are compliant and they know that the level of compliance and how people respond to it will not be at the same pace. Some are look for means to do it. Not all churches are having the means to do this, but as much as possible, there have been an appreciable level of compliance. Even before the proclamation or before the executive order, there are some that have already done this, some are already using it, but by and large, people are coming up, taking this as one of the things that we need to do. Yet, not everybody, and we know that even all over the world, everybody cannot comply with an order at the same time. Some will still look for means of getting the money. Some are even having the constraint that if we have the camera, do we have the means to have a solar to propel it for 24 hours, or is it going to be during the service alone that it will be in operation? These are some of the things that people are still battling with. But by and large, people are complying and they are taking up the challenge to ensure that there is being done.
Okay, since government is putting out this or the part of government, what are they doing to aid people to actually install this system?
Government is to encourage people to do things like this. Is something that you ask the police to go and be arresting people for not doing it. The government has been doing their own part in encouraging. From time to time, you get in the news, you have in the social media, you have in the government signal that people should do it. And that's the role of the government is to keep on reminding people of the need to do what they need to do, and which I believe the government has been doing. But when it comes to an enforcement in terms of being forceful, which we know we are not in the military era, it should not be done, but the government is also doing her best in encouraging people. The government is just to encourage people to do what is right.
Alright, so looking at the level of insecurity in the country, CCTV camera, is it the way to go?
Well, it's not the absolute way, but it's one of the ways. Because if we have CCTV camera almost everywhere, and we have this information, we know that even under the law, our system, the DSS will still be the one to help us to do certain things in all this information. Even if we have those things, it's not a thing that another individual can just say, I want to go and act upon. So it's one of the ways, but it's not the absolute way. The absolute way is that every person should be conscious and report what you see, and we police ourselves. And also that the security agency should really be faithful in executing what they need to do. As we have seen and we know that the security agencies are the ones who are to ensure that these things are curtailed. If from the hierarchy, the top management of the security outfit, if they stand by what they need to do, this insecurity we have today, we just be a thing that within few minutes it will no longer be seen again. But we know that the enablement from the top, not the men on the field, not the men on the field. This goes beyond the men because they are men under authority, and another security officer cannot just act on his own. He will wait for another. So if where the order is to come from, the order will actually come and they actually back it up with what they need to do. I believe all these children will no longer be there again. Àwọn ilé ìjọsìn tí rí wípé wọ́n ń ṣe ohun tí ìjọba nìkan ṣe nípa bí mú àwọn ẹ̀rọ ayàwòrán sí àwọn ilé ìjọsìn wọn, kó dẹ̀ pé gbogbo wa ò lè ṣe lọ́jọ́ kan oṣù. Àwọn èèyàn ti rí pé wọ́n ṣe èyí àti rí pé ìjọba pẹ̀lú tó ń tẹnu wọn ní gbogbo ọ̀nà láti káwọn èèyàn ṣe àti pàrọwà pé kí àwọn èèyàn wa kí wọ́n rí pé wọ́n ṣe ìdókòó jẹ́ ìkan nínú àwọn ọ̀nà. Èyí nìkan lè mú gbogbo kí ìṣòro yìí kí ó tán, ṣùgbọ́n ó kàn jẹ́ ìkan nínú àwọn ọ̀nà tí a lè lò láti jẹ́ kí àṣírí àwọn ilé ibi kí ó má bò. Ìjọba ń gbìyànjú ipa tí wọ́n sì ti ń polongo ní gbogbo ọdún astro fún apolongo sí. Ìjọba ò lè fi ẹgbẹ́ máa lu àwọn ènìyàn tó gbọ́ wọn tí ì ṣe, ṣùgbọ́n iṣẹ́ ìjọba láti máa rán àwọn létí àti máa tẹ̀ mọ́ àwọn létí àwọn ojúṣe wọn nínú àwọn ètò tí a pè é, èyí tí a sì pé ìjọba ti gbìyànjú láti gbé àwọn ṣe.
Tí CCTV ẹ ṣé ọ̀nà pàtó tó yẹ ká gbé nígbà tí gbogbo ìpèníjà yín sì fẹ́ fi
nípa tí àwọn ẹ̀rọ ìkan nínú àwọn ọ̀nà tí a lè tẹ̀lé ní àká ní pé àwọn ẹ̀rọ ayàwòrán yìí wà ní àwọn ilé ìjọsìn àtàwọn ibi tó ṣe pàtàkì láàrin àwùjọ. Ìkan nínú àwọn ọ̀nà ni ó lè pé kìí ṣe pé òun nìkan ní pàtó ohun tẹ́ pé yóò mú kí ààbò kí ó wá, ààbò tí à ń retí àwọn agbófinró wa ni ó gbọ́dọ̀ ní pé wọ́n dúró láti ní pé wọ́n ṣètò ẹ̀kọ́ ṣe, pàápàá jùlọ àwọn adarí àwọn agbófinró wọ̀nyí. nítorí pé agbófinró kọ̀ọ̀kan lè ṣe okó ní orí pápá bí kò wá ṣe pé àwọn aláṣẹ wọn fún ọ ní àṣẹ láti ṣe tó àárọ̀ àwọn aláṣẹ tí ó wà ní ètò gbogbo mú òfin dúró nípa ti àwọn ẹlẹ́ṣọ́ aláàbò wa láti pé wọ́n ṣe ohun tó tọ́ nígbà tó tọ́ kí ààbò tó lè wà láàrin àwọn ìjọba.
It was given in champagne, bottle of champagne for Christmas. The government knew about it. It was reduced down because of champagne. He did not have planning. He did not plan and discipline. If they don't have plan and discipline, can it happen? Yes, Canada.
Mr. Ward is given to you at the University of
Alumni Association I present you this worthy ambassador today, 23rd of July,
award for what you have done both in
Added to that, so you membership of
presentation of distinguished Oladapo, on behalf of the Alumni Lecture, the State Charter, I will put a lot of commitment to do more Almighty and the gospel in Jesus' name. On behalf.
Congratulations. The next is Kabiyesi Adedeji Isam.
I do this for our esteemed Kabiyesi. On behalf of the University of Ibadan, I decorate you this integrity that you have in the same day, Kabiyesi. I also present this on behalf of the University of Ibadan. So Kabiyesi Adedeji for his outstanding achievement as an alumnus of the nation's premier university. Congratulations, Kabiyesi. Honorary alumni member of the greatest university of Ibadan. Congratulations. This is the Outstanding Personality Award presented to Princess Olukoju, Secretary to the Government of Ondo State, for her outstanding contributions to the development of our dear Sunshine State. Congratulations.
and is with you in thoughts and prayers. We are here this morning and this afternoon we've listened to the lecture given by General Olukoju on insecurity in our nation and the role and challenges of it. I don't know about you, but to think we are all thoroughly educated on insecurity of what to do as elites, because we know now in the country the security situation is not one that is very palatable. Nigeria has been ranked as the top world state by 2020 Global Terrorist Index. We are after Afghanistan and Iraq, which is a very bad now for us. We in Ondo State, we had a taste of this terrorism on the 5th of June in Owo. The horrendous massacre of innocent children, women and men who went to church. And I'm sure many of us who are Christians here, we go to church to cry to God for one thing or the other, for God to intervene in our matters. Nobody will wake up on a Sunday morning to go to church and imagine he or she will die in the church. How would you like the sanctuary of God will be invaded by terrorists and blood going all over the church? You needed to have gone there on the 5th of June. You will see blood flowing in the church, human flesh on the walls of the church. It was horrific, and we never pray to see such again in Ondo State. We will never see such again in Ondo State. Yes, the guest lecturer gave us that data of what has been happening in the northeast, in the northwest, in the states of the north. Yes, they are used to it. They wake up every morning hearing news of people being kidnapped, people being killed. It's nothing to them, but it's very, very alien to us in the southwest. So what happened to us on June 5th was something we never dreamt of, and we will never experience it again. Security is a matter, like we have been told, is a matter for everybody. Young, old, elderly, middle-aged, everybody in the society. Whether you are poor, you are rich, you are an elite, or whatever, it's a matter for everybody. All stakeholders must be interested in security. You living on the street, you must watch out for that stranger that comes to the street and report. Those of us who travel, you say, yes, crime is well controlled abroad. It is not so. It's not that the policemen or security agencies abroad are superhuman beings. It is people that give them information. So when crimes occur, it's easy to track down the criminal. Because the old retired man or woman sitting by her window in the house is watching down the whole street. And any strange movement she notices, she will pick up her phone and phone the police. So if a crime occurs on that street, you know whom to pick, because that old woman or old man has described adequately that man he or she sees walking down the street in our world. These hoodlums or these terrorists came on foot. So some people on that street in our world must have seen people walking towards the church, must have seen people coming out of the church. But maybe we do not give enough information here. But I know the terrorists or whatever is work or whatever they are, they will never go unpunished. They will be brought to book in Jesus' name. And justice will be handed out to them. Here in Ondo State, our governor is so concerned about security of the people. otherwise quit the forest. That was at the beginning of where herdsmen were clashing with farmers, where they would not allow farmers to go to their farms. They would kidnap people. He said they should come and register within 7 days or quit the land. And we were in court. So I called him. I said, sir, can we not leave this until after we are out of the tribunal? Mr. Governor just gave a very hearty laugh. He laughed and then said, cease. Because what I swore to was to protect the lives and property of the people of Ondo State. And I will do nothing short of that. If it means losing the governorship, I will not stop at anything. I must protect the people alone. He never gave up. He continued to fight. And he still continued to fight. When Amotebu was going to be established, it was a decision of all the Southwest government. But at the moment the federal government kicked against it, everybody renounced on what they wanted to do. But he still, being a very courageous man, a bold man, a tenacious man, he insisted. Amotebu has come to stay. So will it be. I will protect my people. It is sacrosanct for me. It's a social contract I signed with the people of Ondo State. And it's been exactly that. Only 2 weeks ago, he bought 50 million banks and distributed to all the security agencies in the state. And he said it openly for anybody who listens to the television or radio diary. He said he would transform Amotebu into state police because it's only the state police that can defend us. He said somebody from the north or somebody from the east who don't know our terrain. It is only people who are born and bred in Ondo State that will know their terrain. So when you are in distress and you call, it will be easy for them to get to you. But how can somebody from the north or somebody from the east who is posted here as a police officer, how can they get around and know our forest, or know our terrain? But our own people, we've been committed, we've been educated, and they want to save the lives of their brothers and sisters. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And he said, whatever it will take him, he is going to establish state police. Although security, that we all know, is on the least exclusive list, is the federal government. But he says he will have state police. And my guys, our security will be better improved in the land. We don't want to be ranked the top highest or the top worst country that has insecurity. Because if the country is not secure, we cannot have investment. I was sitting there when Olukoju was asking me about the bitumen in the south of this state. What is the government doing? Government wants to bring in investors because this thing is capital intensive. And investors are afraid to come. No investor will come to an area where he will be kidnapped or his workers will be kidnapped. And until the land is safe for them, no investor will come to us. So our orders are being challenged at a meeting last week. Olukoju was at the meeting, and I'm sure the other KBAC seated here were at the meeting on Wednesday at the door. Government has challenged you that you have a great role to play. We must stop this horrific happening in our land. There is a way KBACs can come in. There is a way we seated here can come in by giving information to the security agencies if we see strange movements in our residence, in where we live. We should be able to give information so that these people will not just come overnight and catch us on our ways. Security, I think the we should take home today is that security is for everybody. It's not just for the security people, it's for everybody to be security conscious and to do everything to see that you protect your life, you protect your property, you protect your family, and the security agencies will do the remaining for us. Our governor is doing his best, and he will not stop at anything to see that we are secure in Ondo State. For now, Ondo State is relatively safe, and it's safer than many of the states in the country. I want to actually commend the Vice Chancellor for educating us. I want to commend the organizers of this meeting and for bringing us a very brilliant man to lecture us on this issue. You say great whites. If my governor were here, he would tell you Ife. University of Ife is the greatest university. But whatever it is, I am from Unilag. I also will say Unilag is the greatest university. So wherever you are, you fight for your own. When you come back here, weary. So, and another thing, they say you blow your own trumpet. I must not sit here and not blow the trumpet of the University of Lagos. You are saying you are the greatest. My organ will say Ife is the greatest. Here, Oladino will say Unilag is the greatest. Whichever way it goes, we are all educated. We are all learned people. We are people from Ondo State, and we are ready to serve Ondo State. On this note, I pray that the good God will heal our land. The good Lord will heal our land. You don't want the land to be healed? You don't want Ondo State to be healed? You want us to be having security issues? We will not have security issues in Ondo State. We will not have security issues in Nigeria.